What my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature snowspeeder and 8 tiny rebel scum. What is up, people? This is Lucky, and yes, we are talking Battlefront today, and this is 2004 PlayStation 2 original Battlefront. Just like I used to play religiously, I played this game every day for years. I'd come into instant action. I'd go into available maps. I would load it to the hilt with maps, set it on random, and then just freaking rock that stuff out. Those of you guys who somehow expected you to see new Battlefront gameplay, sorry, don't have it. Nobody does. But I like Star Wars Celebration was last week. We got a ton of news about Battlefront, and I've got everything I could get my hands on it this week. I went out, I loaded it up, my old Battlefront, and played a bunch of games. I got a bunch of clips, and we've got some of the planets you'll see in the new Battlefront. And one thing we know for a fact is there's going to be 4 planets with 8 multiplayer maps, and they're going to feature 3 original trilogy planets. In fact, this is all original trilogy, no prequel, none of that stuff whatsoever. Here's the classes, like the original classes of Battlefront: Rebel Pilot, Vanguard, Soldier, Wookiee. There was 4 classes for both Empire and Rebels, or if you played in the Clone Wars, which admittedly I did not care for the prequels, but the Clone War battles in Battlefront were pretty freaking fun. Clone Troopers are fucking dope. That's all I gotta say. So here I am taking on some Tusken Raiders. They're badass fucking green lasers. So the maps, the planets that you'll go to are Tatooine, Hoth, Endor, and a new planet. It's not really a new planet. It's in Star Wars EU, Sullust. It's mentioned in the Star Wars universe, and it's actually based on Iceland. It's what it's based on. There I go down, trying to capture the Tusken camp. And like the original Battlefront, here you get like a brief snippet, and I'll talk about that later. In the original Battlefront, you had basically these different spawn points. There were spawn points or command posts. And when you're primary, aside from destroying in the upper top, you see basically like the number of the enemy to the number of people that you have left. Those are spawns that you have left. So you would want to capture these command points, and I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that later as we go through this. I'm gonna fuck up some Tuskens first, but let's get into this. This is gonna be a little bit chaotic. I didn't organize it. I've just got as much stuff here as I could possibly get my hands on. So we're gonna talk Battlefront, and we're gonna go old school and look at some old school Battlefront too. So just like the original, you will be able to play in first and third person. Unlike Battlefront 1, but in Battlefront 2, there were playable heroes, and they have not said how that would work. They have confirmed Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Luke, Han. My personal guess is that the playable characters are somehow tied to streets. That's my best guess. The game is being developed by EA, who everybody knows has done Battlefield. EA insists over and over that this is not a Battlefield carbon copy. Obviously, there will be some similarities. There will be environmental destruction, like there is in Battlefield, but they are repeating over and over. Like that right there, what you just saw, that was basically this map. And you saw there was different, factions controlled different command points. So in the original Battlefront, it like worked. There, aside from the first-person shooter, there was like this meta game also. It was strategic, almost like a chessboard. So you want to capture the different command posts, and capturing the different command posts actually had effect on the battlefield, because then your other AI, the ones on your side, would spawn, and then one that you captured, and it would change the front. It would basically change where the front line of the battle was, and eventually you could like close in on the enemy. It was freaking awesome. And in the original Battlefront, like in the new one that's coming out, and they have announced the release date. It's going to be November 17th for PS4, PC, and Xbox One. You could drive ATSTs, you could fly snowspeeders, X-Wings, TIE Fighters, you could get in the big walkers and fuck shit up. I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff. Drive speeders through the forest, and it's amazing. And I mean, I'm so ecstatic. This game right here, this is 2004 footage, and man, at the time, this was, man, we thought this was like the creme de la creme of like graphics. But today, think today now, 2 generations of consoles later, what they're going to be able to do, and it's in the hands of EA. And I know their track record isn't 100%, but I actually think this is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous game. Everything I hear from these guys has just been that you can tell their love for the franchise is just seeping in. I mean, the Force is so strong with them. The Force is strong with you, EA. I have loved what I've seen from you. You can tell that you genuinely want to honor the original trilogy, and that, as a huge, huge Star Wars fan and a huge Battlefront fan, that means so much to me. Man, I'm stoked. They traveled to Skywalker Ranch. They got into the Lucasfilm archives. They were able to go through all the original models and props, and basically, get photographs and scans of the original things, and they'll be able to use basically modern developmental tools and kits basically to bring that stuff to life in a way that's just not done before. And then on top of that, they've got Doug Chang, who's been at Lucasfilm forever and was there through the prequels and stuff. He knows Star Wars and the art of Star Wars, and they look as good as anybody on the planet, and he's fantastic artist. And it's just, man, I am so freaking stoked. They have all the right people, I feel like, on this project, and EA certainly has the background to do this style game. And man, I just couldn't be happier. Death to the Tauntaun. TK421, why are you not at your post? So I'm going in here and we're going to capture the Rebel base. Man, this is full of like these amazing moments. Look, I am Snow Trooper. I am entering Hoth Echo base with Darth Vader, and he is going to go through here and slash Rebel scum, and it is freaking brilliant. God, I played the hell out of this game. I love this game so much. So yes, to reiterate, Jesper Nelson, EA dev, he commented recently and said he could not stress this enough. There will be more than 8 maps. That's just the ones they've announced for. And the amount of content in the game has absolutely zero to do with the DLC. That's one thing he says. As for expanding on the strengths of the previous games, I think most people will find that it does expand on the strengths of the previous games. So he's basically saying, as far as this original Battlefront goes, they're taking that core and they're expanding it. And he's saying that, says when it comes to core gameplay, quote, what the feeling of a Battlefront game is, just my 2 cents. I mean, they're going to get it right. Man, I'm stoked. So there's going to be playable heroes. In Battlefront 2, they came out with playable heroes. In Battlefront 1, you could not, for instance, play as Darth Vader. He just appeared on the battlefield
and freaking kicked ass for you. He was just a factor in the battle. And it was totally fucking awesome. Totally fucking awesome. But in this one, like I said, there are going to be playable heroes. And I personally feel like they're going to be tied to streaks. That's just my guess. So here, look. Here you have your chessboard, and different sides would go through and they would capture it, and it changed the spawn point. So you could play in this original Battlefront almost like a general to a degree. There was this like strategic element to it where you could go through and be like, well, what if I go and I capture this particular command post? How is that going to affect the battle? And it would change it. I mean, and it's because of that I was able to just play this game over and over, because I would take these battles from different sides and I would try different strategies. And at the time, there was I think 24 spawns per side, maybe 18, but I think there was 24 spawns per side. But if you got it down to where like you controlled every other spawn point except one, and the enemy is spawning in like one single area, they would all come out there, and it led to this just like absolute insanity. I mean, it was, it was total fucking insanity, man. It was just, there were guns and lasers and shit going off everywhere. I can see stormtroopers shoot just as well in this game as they do in the movies. Oh my gosh. There will be no space battles. It will not have a campaign. The original Battlefront kind of had a campaign, and it also had this like capture the planet mode. I doubt it will have that. Battlefront 2 did have a campaign. This one's not going to have a narrative campaign, but it will, on the single player side, feature a series of missions. And you'll be able to go in online or offline and play missions against AI. So that's there. I mean, and that's kind of important for me. I mean, I love multiplayer now, but in this one, I did really just love sometimes just going in and just playing, man. Man, listen to that music, that John Williams music. Cantina. I'm in the cantina shooting stormtroopers. I mean, oh my god, it was awesome. Freaking love this game. And the fucking grenades. So, as I was saying, there's going to be missions, and in the missions, you can play single player or you can do co-op. And you can do co-op split screen, like in the very, very original one. Or you can do, or do it online. So like, you both can do it. There's also going to be what they are calling a partner system, which is kind of like the squad system, but you'll be able to pick a partner in battle, just one person, and you'll always be able to see that person on the minimap, as well as the spawn on their location, so you'll be able to spawn close to them. And there's going to be some kind of inventory sharing, basically, between these two players, allowing a player with more unlocks to share with a less experienced ally. So basically, you guys can form up. So that sounds pretty cool. That's a pretty cool component. And then the fact that you will have these like missions that just you and your buddy can go in and play co-op online. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. There is going to be DLC already announced. For anybody who does pre-order, you will get the Battle of Jakku, which is the only thing not from the original trilogy. It actually takes place in the events immediately following Return of the Jedi and leads into The Force Awakens. If you saw the downed Star Destroyer in the new trailer, that is from the Battle of Jakku. So you'll actually be able to play that event if you pre-order the game. So as long as you pre-order, you'll actually be getting that piece of DLC free. And that releases on December 1st, 2015. So, I talked earlier about the number of players that are actually on this particular map. I think there was 24 per side. These guys, they're saying that there's going to be 40-person multiplayer modes, which I guess amounts to 20 per side. I don't know if that's going to carry. I don't know if that's PC only. Sounds like a lot for PS4, Xbox. Although, admittedly, I mean, I've got War Thunder. It probably pulls off something similar to that. So, I mean, it's entirely doable. Entirely, completely doable. So that'll be interesting. I will say that for this game, you have to have AI in the mix too. You have to have a lot of bots on the field for it to feel like an actual battle. One thing with the original, I mean, some of those environments looked big, and at the time they were massive. But relatively speaking, there was a lot of times where they actually were relatively contained spaces, and it's because of that. It's because they were smaller, especially by today's standards, maps, and they had, I don't know if it was 36 or 48. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly how many they had. Either each side had 18 or they had 24. I can't remember. I know in Battlefront 2, each side only had like 12, and it made a huge difference. Like, I was not a big fan of Battlefront 2, primarily because there was so few bots on the field. It did not feel like a battle that much. Where Battlefront 1, man, like I said, you get it down to where they're all spawned in that one location, and your guys are coming in from all the different locations, and you have this huge fight break out into place. It was complete chaos, and there were grenades and bombs going off everywhere. It was complete madhouse, and they had this like Cloud City map where they actually had two different platforms, and it all funneled down to like a single place. There was like a bridge that connected these two big platforms, and it funneled down in a single place. So everyone met right there, and it was a constant madhouse, man. It was quite awesome. Man, I could not be more stoked about this. Golly, as a million voices cried out in excitement, and there were suddenly, woohoo! Yeah, buddy. Fucking stoked. There will be vehicles, X-Wings, TIEs, Y-Wings, no space battles, like I said. I don't know. I think that this may have everything that we know about it. I think I may actually have covered it. I've covered the DLC. I've covered the number of players on the battleground. Oh yeah, classes. What you were just seeing, you showed me. I saw you. You saw me using the sniper class just a minute ago. In the original Battlefront, there were classes. They're saying that there's not going to be classes in this one, though. In the trailer, you can clearly see that there are people doing different functions, and there are different races. So I have a feeling it's going to be like a build your own soldier type of thing. So maybe you pick your race and kind of pick your. Maybe it's not a specialty, but I don't know how that's going to work per se. But there's not going to be any classes, and you're going to be able to basically build your loadout, which may be really good because that may add like a lot of variety to the mix. And I'll be excited to see more information about that. And this is just what we got from Star Wars Celebration. And just man, E3 is right around the corner, and we're gonna learn so much more. Well, anyway, guys, I think I've covered it. You can tell I'm stoked. I hope you guys are stoked. I hope you guys enjoyed this blast back to the past, 2004. This is Lucky signing out. Peace.
I hear something. I hear something. We've captured a command post. Take cover. the shield generator. That's coming. Right away, sir. Right away, sir. We must defend the shield bunker. Take cover. Grenade, grenade. Take cover. Destroy the shield generator. Their reinforcements have been cut off. Our forces have destroyed the shield generator. We've captured a command post. Grenade! Grenade! We've lost a command post. Enemy forces have captured a command post. We've lost a command post. We're losing reinforcements. Enemy forces have captured a command post. Our reinforcements are being depleted. Enemy sight. Mighty cover fast.